This must happen to millions of people. It's happened to us twice now. You go to your laptop, you switch it on, and the battery dies. You charge it up, and the battery dies. You get sort of half an hour use out of it, if that, and you sort of think, well, this isn't very good. If you're really lucky, the battery hasn't gone and blown up like the last one did, but you know it's not working. It's not holding its charge. So what are you going to do? You contact your local battery supplier, your local PC shop, and they say, oh yeah, we can do that for you. Battery's going to cost you 70 quid, and it's going to cost you 2 hours labour, and so that's £100 for the labour plus 70 quid for the battery. 170 quid, sir. Thank you very much. And it's a £300 laptop, so what are you going to do? You're going to pay it, or you do what I did. Look on YouTube, find somebody who's got one, and see what they did to it. Because if you put in battery change HP laptop, you'll find lots of results. Trouble is, and this included the proper site, I put in the model number and it came up with a couple, and then I went and had a look at them, and whilst they did have, it didn't match the laptop that we'd got. So I went on to the HP site, and there's a very good video. Well, there's a not very good video on the HP site for exactly this model, and it just shows you just doing it. No words, because it's multilingual, so they don't say anything, and so they just show you what they're doing, which is sort of okay if you know the answers to some of the questions that I had. Now, the question I had was, how many screws are in the bottom? What screws do I have to take out, and what screws should I not take out? More importantly, almost than anything else, and is this something that is actually doable by a normal person? I can answer one of those questions now. It is doable by a normal person. Well, I did it, and if I can do it, you can do it. I'll show you exactly what I did, and if you follow what I did and you've got the same model as I've got, you should have the same result. If you've got a slightly different model, maybe you can use this as a guide, but I'll put up apparently the model series is correct. It's just that sometimes you get the old one. So this laptop is from sort of like 3 years ago. 3 years ago, and so that's the model that it applies to. But we'll see how we get on. I will be taking you all the way through to the end, and you will actually see how to do it. So let's see if we can get into this. Stay tuned. First thing I did was went onto Amazon and ordered an HT03XL rechargeable battery pack, which they specify for this model. This battery included a screwdriver and a spudger in order to be able to get the thing apart. So I'll put a link to that in the description. A quick tour around the machine. Here we got the bottom, and then we've got the left side, SD card and USB standard and headphones on that side. On the right side we have Ethernet, HDMI, and I'm not sure what the other one is, but the power input goes on there as well. The answer to question number 1, you've got 3 screws on the front and you've got 2 screws in the middle of the back. It means you can pull the foot back just enough to be able to get the screw all the way up, but without removing the foot completely. It's wonderful. You've got to remove the 3 screws in the front, but a little pro tip here, mark them with a little bit of pencil, and then you can see if they're turning, because they're very small and you don't want to strip them. But if you do it like that, you can see what's happening. You can tell if the head's moving or if you're just making a mess at the end. Having removed all 5 screws, now you can start just easing it up. Start at the corner, use the spudger and actually just lift it up gently. There are no more screws holding it, but it is actually pressed into some sockets within the board, so it's not going to just pop off. You have to ease it up gently. If you just pull it, you're going to snap it. So be gentle and it'll work. Having lifted the bottom off, this is what you're going to find. There's the fan, and moving up along there's the battery, which we're interested in, and that's the actual inside of the bottom, and you can see there's a few lugs there, which is why it wouldn't just pop straight off. You have to be gentle not to damage those. And yeah, that's it. It's quite a nice, neat laptop. Not a lot hanging around. It's just sort of there, and yeah, at the end of the day, it's a laptop. Not a lot to say. That's where the battery is, and we're going to get onto that in a minute, and we'll see how to change it. But first of all, I want to get onto this fan, because you can see here it's very well clogged. So I'm just going to give that a quick brush with a very fine soft paint brush. That was only dry dust, so it didn't take much to get it off, and just give it a bit of a blowout. And so onto the battery. You can see here it's got the same part number, HT03XL, but I'm just showing you here where the screws are. There's one in that corner there, there's one in the other side corner there, Nothing in the two middle ones. Then there's one up there, and there's one up there, and there's one in the corner there. Yeah, in the corner there, and there isn't one the other side. So you've only got a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screws in the battery. So this is where we can take time to look at the battery, and well, look, it's not flat. It is bulging. Not like the other one did, but it is definitely bulging. Now we come on to the best bit, which is actually remove the battery. I've taken out the screws, so at this point, normally there's a struggle. And so what I'm going to do, pull up and it just comes straight up. It literally just comes straight up. It's just like a comb. It just sits on the connector. It's all held in and held together by the screws, so you don't have a problem. As you can see, that battery really was quite well bulging, but it didn't damage anything this time, so that's good. Right, what we do is now we'll get the other battery and we'll put that on. So here we go. This is the new battery. Just looking at it to make sure it looks the same as the other one without the bulging, obviously. And yeah, that's fine. So we'll put that in the right place. Now, it came off so easily, the other one. This one's got to go back in easily. Well, you need to make sure you line everything up, obviously. But the most obvious thing to do is line up the connector. So line the connector up, and it should all then fit. Obviously, before you go, don't go pushing anything hard. What most people do wrong in this sort of thing is it's got to fit. If it doesn't fit, I'll hit it. This is not how you repair stuff. What you do is you offer it up, and if it goes in, it's nice. Now you can hear that. That's nicely sat in there. You can see that the screw holes are lined up, and everything's going to just work. Fingers crossed at this point. So we put the screws in. You can see here a bit clearer how it all just lines up. It really is nice. I was really pleased with this. Done a couple of things like this in the past. Never had so much luck. Right, so we've got the whole thing there. All we've got to do now is put it back together again. So put your 5 screws in the battery, put your 5 screws in the base. Now, when you put the base together, you've got to press it gently, because you've got to get those little lugs I showed you, you've got to get them into the appropriate bits on the other side. So don't just whack it down and screw it up, because it'll break it. What you've got to do is push it on gently. It'll make slight cracking noises similar to when you were taking it off. Make sure that it ends up looking tight, and then put the screws in, and it will pull up nicely. And then just give it a little squeeze just to make sure, because if you get that wrong, when you open it up, it will do some weird wonderful things with the hinges. So you want to make sure everything's okay. When you've done that, you just get to this point, which I'm really quite pleased with. So watch this. Push the power button and see what happens. Oh, well, it lit up, which is a good sign. And interestingly, so you see the pattern of the keyboard. So all the dust that's come out while it was upside down. So I'm going to have to clean that off. That's no problem. And we're waiting for it to do something now. And at this point, I must admit, I was getting slightly worried, because you never know with these things. But then this happened, and I thought, right, okay, I know about this. So don't worry when you get this thing about the CMOS and all that. If you've got an internet connection and you're running on Windows 11, which this one is, it will quite happily reboot the system. So press enter, and it will go into reboot mode, and this is what happens. Not the blue screen of death, but the flickering blue screen of life. Wonderful, wonderbar. Look at that. HP. Twiddly, twiddly, twiddly. And so this is real time. I'm leaving this on so that you can actually see how long it does take to come up. Because that was the other thing. When you do a job like this, you don't know how long things are going to take. Oh, and there we go. As is often with Windows, it wants to do an update, so you can see how it's going there, but that's fine. The update is nothing to do with the battery. It was just it was update day, but I had to do the battery on the day that it was available. So I will skip to the end of the update. 1 minute and 20 seconds later, we're back to this point. You're 94% there. Please keep your computer on. And I think it does something now. I'm not totally sure. Let's see what it's going to do. I must have left this bit on for a reason. Oh yes, I wanted you to see that it was a success. Look, it says you're 100% there. So yeah, that's got to be good. But seriously, it did actually boot up nicely. And obviously, with all Windows machines, it's never actually ready to go. At the time it's ready to go. But yeah, enter the number, enter the pin number, and hey presto, we've got ourselves a fully working Windows 11 HP laptop, which is ready to be able to run for about 9 hours now instead of half an hour. That's got to be good. It's got to be good. And there we have it. We've got a proper Windows 11 machine working on its battery, just like that. And yeah, I must admit I'm quite pleased with that. So there you have it, a stress-free fitting of a battery to an HP laptop of that specific number, but of that series as well. It was a very easy thing to do once you realised what you were doing. That's why I've made the video the way it is, so you know what's coming, you know what you need, and you know what you can do, and you know how to do it. I hope this has been of use to you. If it has, please put something in the comments. If you can think of any improvements, please put something in the comments. And if you found it of use, maybe you'd like to subscribe and watch for other videos that may be of use to you. Don't forget, you can also pass the video around, share it about. That would be great for the channel. There's a link in the description for the battery, which comes complete with the spudger and the screwdriver. And yeah, well, happy computing. Catch you another time. Bye bye.